the thanks, Alice. I'm the past president from last year, and I'm joined today with Betty Hambleton, who is the current president of WAHHI for this year, Claudia Aller, who is the president-elect, and she will become president next year. Susan Flynn, if you wave Susan, she's the vice president for hospitality. And then we also have Janet Porter, who's on our board as well, and she leads our author series, and we'll talk a little bit about our best-selling author series. And then also Alice is up at the top right corner on my screen, and she's our techspert helping us with Zoom today. So she'll be monitoring the chat pod if you've got any questions and the like that's there. So I'm going to share a presentation here and we will get started. So today's agenda is hopefully going to fill in a lot of questions that you may have had about WAHHI. We're delighted that you are all new members and that you've chosen to take the time to learn a little bit more about our association. We're going to cover history, communications, interest groups. We've got, I think, almost 45 of them that you can join this year. A lot of coming soon events so that you can have save your date and mark your calendar. Talk a lot about community giving because that's really heart and soul of philanthropy is what we're doing within WAHHI. And then also we'll do some quick self-introductions with each other. Betty, do you want to give us some history?
Sure. Okay, now I'm unmuted. All right, I'm looking at these dates. We're in our 61st year now, and I'm looking at these dates and thinking, my gosh, Tamara, WAHHI is older than a lot of these members. So we do have a history to share with you, and you are now going to be part of that history. It all started back in 1960 when 7 ladies were sitting on a porch, and if you can conjure up this image, they're sitting there, who knows, they may have been wearing hats, drinking their sweet tea, and figuring out how to get into trouble. So they came up with an idea to beautify Coligny Circle. And within a year, that group became 23 members, and it was the beginning, it was the Hilton Head Garden Club, and it was the beginning of WAHHI. The original goals, the mission of WAHHI has not changed over time. And it's pretty simple to remember. There are 3 parts to it. To promote the natural and cultural beauty of the island, to encourage projects which benefit our community, and to facilitate communication among women. And as you know, the association is not restricted to residents of the island. So it's communication among the women of the island and the Bluffton area. Next slide. So what's new? In Tamara's year, she was faced with quite a challenge. It was our 60th anniversary. We were looking forward to great celebrations, and along comes COVID. And under Tamara's outstanding leadership, WAHHI was able to pivot and be responsive to keeping our members active and connected in every way we could. So we all learned how to Zoom. There were still some of the interest groups that could get together, those like pickleball, tennis,
Golf.
Golf, yeah, absolutely. Anything that could be done outside stayed in gear. There were clubs met in the driveway, or we turned to Zoom for things like the author series. The chef series was kind of a hybrid. Some of the people who felt comfortable, and as long as the restaurant was open, there could be a few people in attendance there, and the rest of us sitting in front of our computers drooling. We are still going to be offering few programs, we're really excited to be back in person with most of what we are offering this year in terms of programs and activities. But the author series will remain on Zoom, and we just keep an eye out on what's happening, and we'll be very flexible. But a lot of our interest groups are back in operation and meeting. So it's just great to be able to be together, see somebody face to face, and reconnect. There are 4 member luncheons a year, and this is set in our covenants. And those have been in person over the years. This last year was quite an exception, but we still honored those luncheon dates, and Tamara was able to get excellent speakers for those. So we still were able to, in one way or the other, honor those get-togethers. For this year, I will give you the 4 dates. The first one coming up is September 23rd, and it will be at under the Honeyhorn Pavilion at Coastal Discovery. Now, I will tell you that if you go to sign up, it's going to tell you there are no spaces. There is a wait list. Please sign up on the wait list. There are various people have a change in plan or not feeling well or whatever, and opportunities may still be there for you to attend that. One of the things that happens usually at the first luncheon of the year is interest group sign up. And there will be a limited number of interest group leaders there to engage with the members and talk about their group activities, but you can still sign on up for interest groups online. So even if you can't attend the luncheon, please go to the website and peruse the list of interest groups and sign up for whatever you want. And as Tamara said, there are over 40 choices this year. We have a couple of new ones. We have a Mahjong group, we have a new card group, and I think we're even working on something, a exercise to music, like a jazzercise group. So if you don't see something there that is of interest to you and you have an idea, please let Claudia know, or me if you can't get in touch with Claudia, and we'll make sure that we look into a way to offer that activity. I'm going to switch down real quickly. I know we're going to be short on time here, to our COVID policy. When we first were faced with having to restrict the way we gather, the way we communicate, we, as I say, we is WAHHI, had to develop a policy for how we were going to interact, or how our meetings would take place. And we've had to go through a couple of revisions to that. And it was revised most recently about 2 weeks ago, when I think it was the governor that said there would be no mask mandate, but they were just encouraging masks. But we take very seriously the health and welfare of our members. So WAHHI has enacted in its policy that all members are required to wear masks at in-person indoor activities. So remember that when you're getting together indoors, please mask up. The other thing that we tweaked a little bit was the policy with regard to interest groups. And many of those, of course, meet in members' homes. So in addition to requiring the masks indoors, we have given the interest group leaders some additional leeway with saying, if you are coming into my home and you are not vaccinated, they can make that distinction and say only members who are vaccinated can attend that event in their home. All right, I think that's the end of my slides. We go on to membership. Are you going to do that, Tamara?
Yes, ma'am. Thanks, Betty. And we'll highlight several of the things that Betty just talked about here on subsequent slides and with other speakers as well. So she's given you right at the top here some of the key nuggets. There are 3 types of memberships. For most of the folks that are on the call today, you have become members already, so you found your way to join us on the WAHHI.org website. We do have an introductory membership that happens only in the springtime. What we were finding was that many women wanted to join, and so now we've introduced this new membership for a one-time only, and hopefully if anybody joins at that time would convert. Very easy to join. You can do it hard copy with a snail mail application, or you can do online and pay with a credit card or check, and that really is the preferred way to make it happen and get you connected quickly. The name tag, this is the hard plastic name tag. We really encourage the use of the hard plastic name tag. It's super handy when you go to a event of whether you're doing chef's series, you're going to your interest group, you're doing a book club, whatever, as well as to a luncheon, and to have the name tag, it doesn't fall off, and because it's magnetized, it doesn't ruin your clothes. So we encourage you to get a name tag. Our in-person events, as I mentioned at the top of the call, we have neighborhood focused gatherings. These are being conducted by ambassadors. The example is Shipyard's gathering tonight with 22 members joining. You'll see them advertised for different neighborhoods on the event site within the member resources section of the website. There's the larger membership meetings, the 4 times a year that the association gathers. And then, of course, there's the smaller interest groups, and interest group sizes really range the gamut. There's some very small groups, which are cooking clubs or book groups, perhaps. And then there's very large groups, like I think Difference Makers has maybe 140 people on their group list at this point. On online events, some interest groups are meeting online. Janet Porter runs an online book club. And then we do have an author series and some tech learning sessions that are done by our webmaster volunteers, that if you want to get a little bit more comfortable using the technology of the member resources site, they're always glad to do that as well. Most important, these are the most important things for association communications, because we communicate a lot and frequently, because we want to make sure you all know what's going on. So the WAHHI.org website is super important. And part of that WAHHI.org website is the member resources password protected site. So that's only for members, and once you join, you're given a email, and it gives you a login, and you can get into then a member resources site. And that contains our membership directory, online membership directory, which is always current, as well as the ability then to sign up for different events, interest groups, chef series, the luncheons. Those are examples of what you can sign up on the event portal. On the WAHHI.org website, we do have a video library, which is gangbusters. The video library has all of the author series, the best-selling author series that have been done, recorded. So if you want to go back and see Kristen Harmel, Mary Alice Monroe, Kirk Neely, one of their presentations that have been done in the past, go to check out the video library. And what we're seeing happen is that different members that have different book clubs are using the book and the author's piece on the video and watching that with their group. So they're kind of getting a good immersive multimedia experience as well. So that's super fun. Most important is each Wednesday, the pink paper comes to your email, and the pink paper is an e-blast, very short, gives you the highlights of what's happening, things you need to know. We'll give you some quick event links that if you want to sign up and get engaged, you can do that. If you are not getting the pink paper Wednesday e-blast and you're a current member, you should be checking your junk or spam folder to make sure that the Women's Association emails are coming through. If you need additional assistance, you can always go to the member resources site, click on Webmaster. They will be glad to help you make sure that you're getting connected and getting the information that you need. So one is the WAHHI.org. Two is look for your pink paper every Wednesday. Usually comes out about 7:30 in the morning. And then you can also look for WAHHI on social media on Facebook and also Instagram. And those things are getting posted periodically as well about what's upcoming and different events. And you can see kind of what's out and about in the life of WAHHI women through those venues. This is just a screenshot of the WAHHI website. Up at the top here, you can see the video library at the top right corner. And also you can see the WAHHI news, and that's where certain news features are posted, and you can kind of catch up in that way. The events here, that will give you a preview of what's in the member resources site, but you really should be logged into your member resources site in order to sign up for events. Again, when you get your membership email, you will have your initial password that's sent for you to be able to log in and access the member resources area. Member resources has a directory. So this is a hard copy of the WAHHI directory. It's published once a year in September, but we know we get a lot of members that come in after September as well. So that's what makes the online directory and member resources really helpful. And you can get there and find, you can search on neighborhood name. Oh, I met Sally at golf. What's Sally's last name? I don't know, but I can search on all the Sallys, and I know she lives in Palmetto Hall. I can find Sally and I can go to coffee with Sally. So that has pretty great functionality. The events piece is super important, and the homepage here you can see has some save the dates and spotlight. So it has some important news to kind of keep everybody connected about what's hot. This is the directory mention. Again, you get this when you come to the September luncheon, and if you don't attend the September luncheon, ambassadors will arrange directory delivery post luncheon for those that do not attend. But the online membership directory is really, it's the bomb because it's accurate and current. The events page has all of the different activities that are coming up, and just a couple helpful hints as you go to register for different things. You need to make sure that you hit all of the screens. I think there's 3 screens when you go to register for an event, and the last screen is confirm. When you hit confirm, that triggers an email to come to you saying, thank you for registering. If you think you've registered and you do not get the thank you for registering confirmation email, you haven't registered. And that's what we will see infrequently at this point is women who think they will have registered and they really haven't finished the registration process. So just make sure you're hitting that confirm and you're getting your event registration confirmation. The other thing is in those event descriptions that are on the event website is just make sure you're reading the detail that's there, because usually who and how to pay, cancellation policy, refund policy, all of those are posted with the event description. And we really try to make it easier for the people that are volunteering to put these different things together, as well as for the members, and making sure that you have all the information you need when you sign up for the events. The WAHHI ambassador is really your first touch point. If you've got a question, you can give them a call. They should be reaching out to you as well. If you haven't heard from your WAHHI ambassador, please let Susan Flynn know, because she's really the one that orchestrates all of the community outreach that our ambassadors do. And if they don't know the answer to your question, I'm sure that they will get back to you and find the right answer with the correct information. Everybody here today found their way to Zoom. If you need a little Zoom tutorial, there's a Zoom tutorial that's there that you can click on. It's pretty basic. If you're already in this meeting today, you're probably a Zoomster and can do pretty well on your own. So thanks for coming today. This is going to be shared by Claudia Aller, our president-elect, and she leads our interest group activities for this year. Claudia.
Thanks, Tamara. I will keep it really brief so we can get to some of the introductions, but as Betty and Tamara already mentioned, we're really proud of our interest groups. Once you get onto the member resources homepage and you select the interest group banner, you'll be able to go through and read about all of the different groups we have. And I can tell you that if you are recently retired or recently moved here, you want to meet new friends, you want to try something new like golf or pickleball, or you want to get into any kind of a book club or card game, this is the place to go. It's an atmosphere where everybody is welcoming. Everybody's in this together. Everybody's excited to be learning something new. And we're just, you will love it. So I urge you to go through the interest groups. Betty's right. We do have some new ones coming up. We do have a dancercise that we're going to be putting on soon. I just was talking to our Southern Gardeners interest group today, and they're going to be, they couldn't really connect last year during COVID, but they've got some really exciting garden tours and garden talks with master gardens in various locations around the island. Just some really cool things to do through interest groups. And most of our members are involved in several of them. So it's all based on your schedule, what you can handle, how much you want to be involved, but please check out our interest groups. And the way you go about signing up, this is really important. Once you get onto that page, and then you're looking down through the interest groups, you can see who the interest group leader is. We have their name and their email address right there on the interest group page. So if you choose an interest group to join, like Tamara's Pinterest interest group, there's a picture of one of their projects right there. You can email Tamara and tell her that you'd like to belong. And from there, the wheels are in motion. Tamara or the interest group leader will immediately reach out to you and welcome you as part of the group and let you know how to start to get involved. So just a big commercial on seeking out an interest group, getting involved. You will love the opportunity to learn something new in a safe environment and meet some friends. The second thing I want to say is we are always looking for new interest groups. So if you are joining the organization and you have an interest or a hobby or something that you love to do, and you want to form an interest group, you want to get something together, it's very easy to do. We will hold your hand through the whole process. We actually have all kinds of locations in the community, free locations where you and your group can meet. We can put you in touch with other leaders who have started groups as well. So we're always looking for something new and crazy and fun to offer as an interest group to our members. And I hope you will think about that. Reach out to me. We can make almost anything into an interest group, any hobby or anything that you love to do. So that's me, Claudia Aller, and I will turn it back over to you, Tamara.
Thanks, Claudia. Fall luncheon, Betty mentioned that there'll be some interest group tables there in September, and you'll be able to go around and hear a little bit more about them. Most will kick off in the fall after the luncheon. Some are meeting now. Some have never stopped over the summer, like golf and pickleball. They've played through the whole summer. Susan, do you want to share a little bit about what interest groups you lead or participate in?
Sure. I offer an interest group called On the Water, and I have a group of 11 volunteers right now on my committee, and we're planning right now gathering information and hope to offer lots of events of things that we can get you out on the water.
So they've organized like kayaking. You'll see the things out of the Hilton Head Harbor. Susan's been great organizing those events. They did alligator and wine kayaking one time, or boating one time. They always are really fun. As Claudia mentioned, I do the Pinterest interest group. I also am a member of the investment club, golf, pickleball, and you can stay as busy or as not as busy as you want. You just kind of pick and choose what fills your calendar and where you find your joy. Claudia, what are the groups that you're participating in?
Oh, I'm in Difference Makers, the Investment Club, golf, pickleball, Southern Gardeners, On the Water. You can tell I recently retired. I just, yeah, lots of interest groups.
Those are all fun. There are a lot of cooking groups. One cooking group is Couples Gourmet, and it's been meeting for over, I think, 30 years at this point. And that is the only interest group that we have that's with spouses. Or your significant other. And I joined that right at the beginning when we first relocated here full time. And my husband used to call it affectionately dinner with strangers, because it's a dinner party for 8 and everybody cooks the same meal in that rotation. And at the end, it's now dinner with friends, because we've gone through the list and we know each other and really enjoy everybody's company. So there's really something for everyone that you can find. Upcoming events, we have a lot of these, and these are all on sign up online on the events page. Pickleball clinics, we're through the July and August sessions. Friday golf, wine and nine, that is very popular right now. It's maybe 4 or 5 foursomes going out, but we've had maybe up to 10. I think this Friday they're golfing at Palmetto Hall. Golf clinic is every Thursday at 1 p.m. or 2 o'clock, 2:30 p.m. At Palmetto Dunes with Coach Doug Weaver. He's a PGA teaching professional. He's got a great background, and I think we've got like 89 women that have learned how to play golf through golf clinics and Nine and Wine this past year. We just did that girls' night out, GNO happy hour cruise last night. All had a good time once again, and I'm sure there'll be other events like that in the future. Happy Days dinner and DJ at Skull Creek Pavilion. This is one that is coming up on November 4th. It is a fundraiser activity for our charitable fund, if I remember, and it looks like it's going to be a great time. Betty's going to share a little bit more information on that. But first, we're going to hear from Janet Porter and the best-selling author series, which has been such great fun over the last year to pull this off.
Thank you, Tamara. So I was just like you guys 2 years ago. You know, I wasn't new here, but I'd been to like one WAHHI event. And I made the mistake of going to a meeting at Tamara's house, and she had great ideas and she was looking for people to raise their hand. And when no one raised their hand, I thought, how hard could it be to do an author series? And I found it's harder than you think, actually. So I've gotten involved in a lot of different things. And so I would encourage you to just attend meetings that you're invited to, raise your hand. The best-selling author series meets the second Thursday of every month. This month we did The Forest of Vanishing Stars with Kristen Harmel. The month before that, we did Mary Alice Monroe. But we have a lot of best-selling authors coming up. I'm thrilled to tell you that we have Marie Benedict coming, who is the author of many books you may have read. She wrote The Other Einstein, Carnegie's Maid, lots of the other woman in the room. So she's going to be doing actually 2 sessions for us, one in the fall with her latest book, and then one in the spring with her new book. And we also have Sarah Penner coming, who is the author of The Lost Apothecary, which is a big bestseller. So we encourage you to join us. This is the one thing that WAHHI does, that the author series does. It's a webinar. So you get into it just like you do a Zoom meeting. It's on Zoom, but it's a webinar. So that means that the audience, we can't see, there are panelists, like people on stage. We can't see the audience. They can see us, they can hear us. We can chat back and forth. So this is really where you can come in your pajamas with rollers in your hair, because nobody's going to be able to see you. But we encourage you to come and join us, and you'll see lots of announcements about this in the pink paper.
Thanks, Janet. Yeah, super schedule of upcoming events. Chef Series is also small group, delicious experiences. These are the dates that are upcoming as well. Oh Shucks at Old Oyster Factory. It's going to be a little education about the wonderful oyster, as well as sampling as well. And last year we did Frankie Bones Oktoberfest in Bluffton. Fantastic experience celebrating Oktoberfest. This is led by Paula Eagle. She's also on the board on our special events team. And they're doing great things, putting together a delicious experience for everyone. This is the fall luncheon date. As Betty said, right now we're in a waiting list status. So if you are interested in attending, please put your name on the wait list and get in. We've got a keynote speaker, Debbie Lyons from WHHI. We've got the Coastal Buffet from Surge and the Interest Group Expo. And if you don't attend, you still get your membership directory distributed after the fact. So don't worry, you'll still be getting the information. Neighborhood meet and greets are going on. They're hosted by ambassadors, small groups in person, usually in an outside venue And it's really based on the schedule of whatever that ambassador community in that neighborhood is doing. I know Sea Pines has one coming up, Port Royal, I think. So they're all kind of kicking off at this season to try to get women connected. The member learning meetings are delivered on Zoom about every 6 to 8 weeks. Our webmasters will get in and they'll do membership tech training. So if you want a little bit more information about the website, you can look for that event there. And then we do the new and prospective member orientation in person. And then also we do it on Zoom. And this is one of the Zoom deliveries that's there. Betty, do you want to talk a little bit about the community giving?
Sure, thanks, Tamara. WAHHI, as you can imagine, over its 60 plus years, has developed a very strong philanthropic presence in our community. There are two primary arms to this, one being the Youth Community Service Award, and we are in our 41st year of that. And that program, there are various fundraisers throughout the year. And there are many of the Shop for a Cause events, and we've got one of those coming up in October 8th and 9th at J. McLaughlin on Main Street. But watch for these events coming up. They will come out in your Wednesday Peak Paper newsletter, and we certainly hope you will participate. What happens in the Shop for a Cause is that we have a relationship with a business in the community who agrees to give a certain percentage of the sales of that day, or in the case of the one in October, it's going to be over a 2-day period. And that percentage comes back into the Youth Service Award program. This past year, we were fortunate enough to be able to award make 5 awards to high school seniors. Each one received $1,000 in recognition of their outstanding community service. So as we are very much a community service organization, we certainly recognize and promote that among the youth in our community. The other piece of that is the WAHHI Charitable Fund, which is held by the Community Foundation of the Low Country. And there are a variety of ways that we build that fund during the year. When you join, you have an option of becoming a diamond member of WAHHI, and that $25 is a contribution to the WAHHI Charitable Fund. But we also have a number of fun events over the course of a year. The November 4th, what is it called? It's a diner theme, and it has, I want to say Harold's Diner, but no, that's on 278.
Happy days, happy days.
Happy days, thank you. And it's going to be a 50s, 60s, 70s theme, a lot of fun. You can bring your spouse or friend or significant other, and there will be a DJ, a great buffet put on by the restaurant right there. It's at the Boathouse Pavilion, beautiful view. We have a great time at these events. At the end of the year, it will be probably in February, at the February luncheon, we will announce the results of our grant program for the year. So all of this fundraising we're doing for the charitable fund is going to result in a number of grants awarded back to nonprofits in the community who apply. And this year we are at our theme for WAHHI, our underlying theme that's you'll begin to recognize through all of the programs and events is resilience. Have developed resilience as women over this past year, and how we have developed resilience as an organization and as a community. So we're going to be focusing on ways that various nonprofit organizations are able to help others in the community to build resilience, and recover from the effects of the pandemic. Last year, there were 7 grants that were awarded at $1,500 each. So depending on what we raise for the year will dictate how many grants are awarded and the amount of those awards. So I strongly encourage you, whenever you see these events come up, please participate. It makes a big difference in our organization and our ability to give back to the community. And you've already heard about Difference Makers Interest Group. That is a wonderful experience. They are doing a book drive at the September luncheon. And they will be, if you don't make it to the luncheon, there will be an announcement in the newsletter of other places where you can drop off your contributions, but they're looking primarily right now for books for very young children up through, let's say, young adults, late teens, young adults. And this is going to help replenish those little libraries that are distributed throughout our community. There will not be a Backpack Buddies drive this year. We're doing the book collection at the September luncheon in lieu of that. There will be the holiday toy drive benefiting the Children's Center, and that will be at the December luncheon. At the February luncheon, there will be a cookies for first responders, and we ask our members to contribute homemade baked goods, and you bring them in little baggies, and then we have these very special volunteer helpers who make sure that they are distributed throughout the fire departments and the law enforcement departments of our community. There are many, many ways for you to get involved in volunteer activities within our organization, within groups within our organization that do this very special outreach. Tamara's got a slide up right now on our grant fund recipients this past year. The Heritage Library received a grant, and they put together a fabulous compilation of our Hilton Head history, which can be found on the website. The Children's Center goes back. We've had a partnership with them going back to the beginning of that daycare center. Very special. Saving Sea Turtles, the Sea Turtle Patrol does very important work here to preserve the environment of our beautiful low country. The Pregnancy Center and Clinic, Volunteers in Medicine, Family Promise, Sandalwood. These are the nonprofits that received our help last year through the generosity of our members. Community gifts. Last year, a big year in the life of WAHHI, and Tamara was fortunate enough to be president at the time and leading this effort. We were able to raise $20,000 to donate to the Coastal Discovery Museum for the construction of a garden labyrinth. And we have been in touch with them most recently to see where the progress is. They're still in the late stages of planning, and we'll be doing some initial ground clearing that's maybe we'll be able to see during the September luncheon, but that is going to be an extremely important and well-received addition to our community. It will be handicapped accessible. The paths won't be stone. It will be a harder surface that wheelchairs or strollers, can easily go over. So we're looking forward to that. Also, $2,500 was donated to the Sandbox Children's Museum for their capital campaign. And if you haven't ventured down to the south end of the island, you must go and see the Sandbox Museum. And I had to go down there to visit with Nancy Fish, one of our members, who is the executive director. And it was an absolutely, I was absolutely in awe of what they have constructed down there. If you have young children or grandchildren, that's certainly a place that you want to stop off. Over the years, WAHHI has been able to provide gifts back to our community. There's public art at the Coastal Discovery Museum. There's a pelican sitting on a bench. The bike path maps, the gabled front porch at Coastal Discovery Museum, and a study carrel at the Hilton Head Library. These are just examples of some of the things we've been able to do through the generosity of our members over the year. So now it's time for you to volunteer. Here are the dates coming up for the Shop for a Cause event. The 8th and 9th at J. McLaughlin. December 2nd, J. Banks Design on Main Street. They will have all of their Christmas gifts out for display and for purchase. So not only will you as a member get a 20% personal discount that day for your purchases, but an additional 10% of all sales for the day will come back to the WAHHI Charitable Fund. And Linda Drasbeck, who is our outreach chair, will be there with me from 4 to 7, and we're going to have champagne and some holiday treats. So put that on your agenda for December 2nd, and please stop by and see us and stop by and shop. There's your happy days are here again, November 8th at Skull Creek Boathouse. And remember, sign up early. You'll get an announcement when on your weekly pink paper newsletter. You'll get an announcement when the registration is open, so jump right on that one. It will be a very popular event. So whatever you want to do, raise your hand, volunteer. And I can tell you that Claudia, in the not too distant future, is going to be thinking very seriously about filling volunteer positions next year for her board and council. So if you feel so inclined and want to stay really busy, but be very rewarded by what you do, get in touch with Claudia, get in touch with Susan Flynn to get engaged, or certainly you can reach out to me. Always happy to see our new members step up and volunteer. Tamara, do we have some time now to do introductions?
We do. Why don't you go ahead and tell your story, Betty, and we'll start off with you.
Okay. We moved here in 2020 from Potomac, Maryland. I had a 30-year career with the federal government, and like Claudia, who just recently retired, and we had this conversation, didn't we, Claudia? What do you do with yourself after you've been busy for 30 years traveling and doing other things? So the first thing you do is you join WAHHI and you get connected and you meet new people and you try new things. And I certainly have done that over the years. I've had various positions in WAHHI over the years and have thoroughly enjoyed the friendships made through the interest groups. So that's my story.
Fabulous. So I've been coming to Hilton Head since the early 80s. We bought a condo that we rented in 2003, bought our forever house in 2010, and moved full-time in 2016, the day before Hurricane Matthew came through. So that was very exciting, which we didn't need it to be that exciting in moving. But have been just delighted after retirement with all of the fun things and great women that have been able to meet through WAHHI. I worked in government contracting and consulting, and none of that translates to what I'm doing in my current life, which I'm very happy for. So it's Susan's cracking up, appropriately so. Lots of fun, lots of different activities, and super group of women that are just interesting, engaging, and you can always take something back from your engagement. We came from the Northern Virginia area, and am here full time. Claudia.
I moved down from in 2016. We picked out our house while we were on a vacation, just out of the blue, and here we are. We had lived in New York, and I had worked for Citibank in Manhattan for the last 28 years. So this was a wonderful change to be able to slow down a little bit and actually have a life. I have 2 kids. And one is about to have a baby. So I'm going to be a grandmother in about 3 weeks. So I'm really excited about that. My kids, my daughter moved down into Charlotte, so they're close by. And I live in Port Royal. So I see that a lot of I'm also an ambassador. So I love doing that as well. And it's just been great to be involved and make new friends in the neighborhood that I live in, but also join an organization where I can meet women from other neighborhoods. And I really love the opportunity to sit down and have a glass of wine or a cup of coffee with a new friend, and also try something new, a new sport or new skill or new hobby. So I love this organization, and you will too. And so that's my story.
Awesome. Susan, how about your story?
I'm Susan Flynn, and I retired in December 31st, 2013, and I was down here into our condo January 4th, 2014. I met Linda Jackson, our membership chair, through another friend I had met down here, and she introduced me to WAHHI at one of these new member informationals. However, it was in person. Not too many months after that, they needed a treasurer, and they asked if I might be willing to do that, which I did for 2 years. And then after that, I was asked to be the director of ambassadors. And then last year, Tamara asked me to do hospitality with ambassadors. So I've always been connected to WAHHI almost since I moved here, and I love it, just like everyone else says. But the important thing is to become involved, because if you don't become involved, you're not going to meet people and enjoy it to the nth degree. So I definitely recommend that you become involved and volunteer. Thanks.
Sorry to interrupt you, Susan, but I was just attacked by a spider. I lived. Okay. Let's see, Janet, you want to talk a little bit about your WAHHI story?
Sure. My name's Janet Porter. I'm a hospital administrator and professor by background. And we moved here from Boston in 2012. And I was still working. So I became more active on the island about 3 or 4 years ago. And, I want to say, I went to a big luncheon at WAHHI, and people were very nice, but I didn't really make friends, and so my membership lapsed. And so this time when I decided to join a couple of years ago, I decided if I was going to, be in the organization, I needed to, commit to get involved. And so as I indicated, I raised my hand. So I, am very grateful, I have to say, for the fact that I raised my hand, because during COVID, the author series, for example, I also run an evening Zoom book group for WAHHI. And those activities have been frankly real lifesavers for me. It's provided me incredible connectivity. It's provided me new friends and, you know, a real purpose. And I'm very grateful for the fact that for WAHHI and the fact that they, you know, I raised my hand and they took me up on it.
Awesome. Thank you, Janet. We're glad to have you with the team. Sandra, because she has no mic, I'm going to share with you what she typed in the chat pod. She grew up in Beaufort, South Carolina, homegrown, but has lived in Anderson, South Carolina for her working career. She's taught pharmacology to family medicine residents in training. She's married to Scott, a family doctor, sports medicine physician with 30 years, 2 adult children, 1 in pharmacy school at PC and 1 a chef at the Sage Room. Love the Sage Room. Loves to walk on the beach, sit and listen to music, live music. She can't wait to retire to their villa in Sea Pines next week. So we're excited. She's had their home since May of 2019 and she's excited to get ready and get engaged. Who wants to go next with your WAHHI story and background?
Tamara, could you take the slides down?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm happy to go next.
Great.
Okay. I'm Ann K. Wood. I originally grew up in Sylvan, North Carolina, which is in the western part of the state. And then my family and I moved down to Hilton Head 2011 for Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I'm a practicing attorney and I'm the director of Low Country Legal Volunteers currently. And I live in Moss Creek. And my WAHHI story is that I'd heard of the organization over the years being down here. My friend Danny just recently joined WAHHI. And I met up with Paula Eagle, who I used to do yoga with, met with her. And then I had the pleasure of meeting with Betty. And so, you know, you guys know how that went. After I met with Betty, I was completely in. So I joined that day.
That's awesome. And Dara Lotterell leads the wine group, the wine interest group, and she's a Moss Creek resident. So you might want to sign up for the wine tasting interest group. So it's super fun.
That sounds good.
Okay, how about you, Janice? You want to share your background?
Okay, yeah. I'm originally from Pittsburgh and I moved to Atlanta 20 years ago and just moved here in December. But we had a place here we rented forever. So we gutted this and sold our house in Atlanta, moved here, and I'm a retired preschool teacher. And my husband is still working. He has 2 more years to go to retirement where we can fully enjoy. And 2 boys, 31 and 29. And with WAHHI, I'm just looking to make new friends because we had a lot of new friends, a lot of good friends in Pittsburgh and Atlanta. So we're hoping just carry it through.
Awesome. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Rebecca. Welcome, Rebecca.
You. My in-laws actually have lived in Hilton Head for 40 plus years. And so our kids grew up coming here. We've been coming here. They recently moved from Sea Pines to Tide Point. And my husband and I have a home in Sea Pines. We are in the process of transitioning here. I worked professionally as a hydrogeologist. And then I also, after I stopped doing that, I've done a lot of volunteer leadership roles. I currently run several programs in Guatemala, and I'm starting a program here with Hope for Horizons called Furnish a Future for women coming out of the violence shelter into homes. We're working with interior designers that are going to be furnishing their homes. So we're getting that off the ground right now. I guess for WAHHI, same thing. We are new here. We're transitioning and we're just looking to get involved.
Awesome. Well, welcome, Rebecca. My dad lives at Tide Point also.
Hey.
We'll see you there.
Yeah, I will.
Carla, how about you? Welcome, Carla.
Hello. My husband and I have been coming down to Hilton Head for vacations for like the last 5 years and just recently bought a home in the Preserve at Indigo Run. I'm going to retire at the end of December and we're going to be coming down in January. I worked for the pharmaceutical industry for a number of years and then about 3 years ago, retired and actually started working. I'm a veterinarian for a nonprofit veterinary hospital that's in the Philadelphia area. I'm from the Philadelphia area. We have 4 kids. They're all grown with 6 grandchildren. So we have friends in Hilton Head that are living there, so I'm familiar with the area. And they actually told me about this organization, that I should join it, and I'm looking for getting involved in the community here.
Awesome. Welcome, Carla. We have lots of intersections already happening on our call with places that people have been and how long you've been here, and professions as well. That's always fun to see. Laura, how about you? Do you want to share your background?
Sure. I've been here about 8 years. I'm originally from Texas, but lived 30 years up in the New Jersey area and had a career with Merck, the pharmaceutical industry. I ran their investor relations group as well as their mergers and acquisitions group. I'm currently in Wexford. I've been playing a ton of tennis and doing a lot of physical sports, and now I'd like to do some other things. So I had heard about WAHHI from one of our neighbors, and sounds like a great group, and I look forward to it.
Awesome. Welcome. How about the other Laura? Dr. Laura.
Yeah, I'm a physician, just retired last September, OBGYN, and I practiced in Atlanta for 30 years. And I also did my training in Pittsburgh, so I can kind of relate to Janice there. I live in Hilton Head Plantation, and I play a ton of tennis and pickleball. And I heard about WAHHI at a trivia event at one of the clubs. So decided to join. I really want to meet some people outside of the plantation and try to get involved in a lot of the different groups. I saw all the interest groups on the website, and a lot of them sounded really good to me. So got involved. I went to the Salty Dog Cruise last night and met a person that I knew from Atlanta, a tennis person that I knew about 5 years ago. So that was very, very good to connect with her last night. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Perfect. That's awesome. Welcome, Laura. It's great you've already gotten engaged. Marilyn?
Hi, everyone. So we bought a place like 2 years ago in Hilton Head. I am not fully there. I'm jealous that so many people retire. I'm not even close to that. I still have about 8 years for retirement. But my hubby did retire, so maybe I'll retire much younger. He retired from the Boston Police Department, so Gianna is from Boston. And he retired after 38 of service as a Boston Police Commissioner. And so now we're transitioning eventually to move there full time. I currently work as a criminal investigator in the insurance fraud industry, and also work as a professor at 2 different colleges. So I always, I've heard from another neighbor to join this organization, and I look forward to really be part of a lot of the activities, since I enjoy doing that and also staying busy. So I'm transitioning in even some of the programs that I'm doing here in Boston as the vice president of the Puerto Rican Festival of Massachusetts, so that I can do more in Hilton Head and start kind of getting more acclimated with.
That's awesome. Well, welcome. We're glad that you're almost here. You're on your way, right?
Yes.
Candy, you want to share a little bit about your background? Nice to see you here today, Candy.
Let's see. Okay, thank you, Tamara. Well, I'm an ambassador. I've probably been in WAHHI 6 years and been an ambassador for 4 years. And I just love this organization. I love meeting new people. I am involved in several interest groups, but I'm very active on Hilton Head. I'm currently the president of the League of the Symphony, which is the fundraising arm of the Symphony. And I'm also the Commodore of the Yacht Club of Hilton Head Island. So I have a variety of interests, but I love being involved in WAHHI. And I was in a cooking interest group, but decided I really hate cooking. So I'm no longer in that, but I love reading books and being involved in WAHHI. So thank you, Tamara.
Awesome. Welcome. We're glad you're here.
Thank
Let's see. Anne, did I get Anne?
You did.
Okay, so that's your picture because you were live before. Okay, Joyce.
Okay, well, we moved to Hilton Head almost 3 years ago from Raleigh, North Carolina. I was a nurse anesthetist for over 30 years and had just had enough of that. So when I moved here, I really wasn't looking to get very busy. I needed to de-stress, but I love my dogs. I love water sports. I've windsurfed since 1984. I'm a really good windsurfer. Unfortunately, we don't have that on the island to any great degree, and love fishing. I'm also a member of the Hilton Head Art League, so I really like art. We have a lot of interest groups in Port Royal, where we live. I play pickleball 3 or 4 times a week, but I'd like to get out and play with some other people. Just really like to be outside all the time. You can tell I'm kind of tan, but any outdoor activity, anything with my dogs, I'm all in for. Just want to meet some new people.
Awesome. Welcome, Joyce.
Thanks.
Okay, I think, did I get everybody at the end here? Murray Danforth, you're the 2Z2BE8 person. Do you want to share your background? Marie is our awesome historian that serves on the WAHHI board, and her fine work last year contributed a lot of the 60th anniversary history and stories that you can find on the website still. So if you want to learn a little bit more about WAHHI through the decades, you can look at her fine work on history, and that is Marie's good work. Okay, so I think we're at our appointed time of closing. Hopefully you got out of today's session information that will help you get started and get connected, and jump right in there, emailing your interest groups that you're in, the leaders that you're interested in joining, signing up for different events using the website, or just talking to your ambassador and getting connected in your community with other WAHHI ladies. So thank you so much for giving your time this afternoon, and look forward to your talents. See you
And
soon.
welcome to WAHHI.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.